Breaking news overnight, intense protests over the fatal police shooting of Daunte Wright. Police in Minnesota clashed with demonstrators for the second night in a row.
That comes after the release of that new body camera footage showing the moment veteran officer Kim Potter discharged her gun instead of a taser. She is now on administrative leave.
This morning, we are hearing from Daunte's parents. They're going to join us live for an exclusive interview. But first, Stephanie Ramos is in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, with the very latest. Good morning, Stephanie.
Michael, good morning. We can see the remnants of the clashes that took place here last night between protesters and police. We can see water bottles, glass, trash littered everywhere. Minnesota National Guardsmen posted outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department right now. That's right behind me. After a second night of protests after the fatal shooting of 20-year-old Daunte Wright. Overnight, new protests erupting nationwide from Portland to Seattle to New York City as police in Minnesota clashed with demonstrators for the second night in a row. Some businesses were reportedly looted with their front windows smashed in. Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, seeing roughly 40 arrests overnight over the death of 20-year-old Daunte Wright, an unarmed black man killed during a traffic stop in a Minneapolis suburb. In the body camera footage released 24 hours after the shooting, police say the officer involved accidentally discharged a gun instead of a taser, killing the young father.
As I watch the video and listen to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet.
A mix-up the police chief says they train to avoid.
We train with our handguns on our dominant side and our taser on our weak side.
The fatal encounter happening just before 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon when the police chief says Wright was pulled over for an expired vehicle registration. But when officers ran Wright's name through their system, they discovered a warrant out for his arrest. Court records show that warrant was issued after Wright failed to appear in court earlier this month, following misdemeanor charges for allegedly carrying a firearm without a permit and running away from law enforcement. Police say Wright was trying to get back into the vehicle when the fatal shot was fired. Wright driving the car for several blocks before crashing into another vehicle. Wright died at the scene. The medical examiner ruling it a homicide, saying he died from a gunshot wound to the chest. Wright's sister, Diamond, telling us how she hopes her brother is remembered.
He wanted to be known, not this way.
We are now learning the name of the officer who fired that shot, Officer Kim Potter, who has been with the force for 26 years. During that fatal traffic stop, she was training another officer. She remains on administrative leave.
My position is that we cannot afford to make mistakes that lead to the loss of life of other people in our profession. And so I do fully support releasing the officer of her duties.
In a briefing overnight, the Sheriff's Department says the goal last night was to maintain peace. They say they maintained as much order as they could. Some officers were injured, and police tell us that a limited amount of businesses were burglarized. Daunte's family has called for peaceful protests.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.